Florence, what are we seeing with this participation rate?
Well, Will, you mentioned it, that turnout rate for noon in the second round is 28.23%, so just over 28%, as you were saying. Now, what you need to understand is it's a little bit less than the turnout was at noon during the first round. That turnout rate was 28.54. It's roughly about the same thing, but what you need to know is traditionally in France, people vote more in the second round of the presidential election than they do in the first round of the presidential election. So it's interesting that at noon, the turnout rate is a little bit lower than it was in the first round. Now, in recent history, that hasn't happened. If you look at what happened in 2012, for instance, or 2007, people voted more in the second round. It's only back in 1969. That's the last time that in the second round, fewer people voted than they had in the first round. And just for French political history, that was the election between Georges Pompidou and Alain Poher. And what's interesting is in that election, the left didn't turn out to vote in the second round because they deemed that the two candidates were too similar. Now, this election, of course, we have two very different candidates, and yet analysts expect a very high abstention rate for several reasons. First of all, many people have expressed the fact that they're unhappy with the candidates that made it to the runoff. Many people feel like they're not having the choice that they want. Also, do keep in mind that tomorrow is a bank holiday in France, so this is a long weekend here, and so perhaps some people have just gone away on the weekend. Also, the weather has been a little rainy, so perhaps people are waiting at least until the rain stops. We'll see when we get the next update. That'll be at 5 p.m. here at the Ministry of the Interior.
And Florence, as you're alluding to two very different candidates, a heated campaign, really. Earlier you were at some of the polling stations. What was the mood like there?
Well, Will, I was at a polling station in the 15th arrondissement. We were there as soon as it opened at 8 o'clock. And there were people, early birds, I guess you could say, lining up to vote because during the first round there had been so many crowds. People had to wait 2 hours at times. So a lot of people decided to come early to be able to cast their ballot without waiting too long. Now, we spoke to some people who were very happy because obviously perhaps their candidate had made it to the runoff. A lot of people also showing up and saying, look, Mike, the candidate I voted for in the first round didn't make it to the runoff, but it's still important to vote in the second round of the presidential election. This is our civic duty to show up and cast your ballot, even if you're not happy with the candidates in the runoff. Must say, though, I spoke to a lot of voters who said they were very happy that this election was coming to an end.